Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Donna Villa from Chicago, Illinois. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared on Tuesday, March 12, that Israel would continue its military campaign into Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip, despite increasing international pressure. Calls from various quarters have urged Israel to refrain from entering Rafah, one of the last remaining relatively safe areas where 1.5 million people have sought refuge. Netanyahu's statement coincided with plans by European Union leaders to urge Israel to abstain from launching a ground operation in Rafah, as outlined in draft conclusions of an upcoming summit that reads, quote, "The European Council is calling upon the Israeli government to avoid a ground incursion into Rafah, where more than 1 million Palestinians seek refuge from the conflict and require access to humanitarian aid," end quote, obtained by Reuters. The text will necessitate approval from all 27 national leaders of the European Union to be ratified during the summit scheduled for March 21 and 22. On Tuesday, March 12, Pope Francis shared a profound reflection with participants of the Third Latin American Congress happening in Panama from March 12 through the 14th. The Congress, organized by the Center for the Protection of Minors, has drawn church representatives from across the region to deliberate on the theme of vulnerability and abuse towards a broader view of prevention. In this message, the Pope emphasized the importance of nurturing relationships that humanize individuals within society, including the Church. The Holy Father entrusted to the Lord the Church's ongoing efforts to combat the scourge of abuse in all spheres of society and called for the Church to dismantle structures that shield abusers, stressing the importance of understanding the root causes behind abusive behavior and fostering healthy relationships. French bishops expressed dismay on the new bill legalizing assisted suicide. French President Emmanuel Macron announced on Monday, March 11, the bill providing medical aid in dying for terminally ill people. Archbishop Moulin Beaufort of Reims, in an interview with the French daily La Croix, said the bill will not lead the country to more life, but towards death as a solution to life. The prelate expressed his disappointment since the bill emphasized helping people die rather than providing a better life via palliative care. The Archbishop from Reims further mentioned that nothing has been done to provide palliative care and the resources to several existing services have been reduced. The prelate remarked that calling a text that opens both assisted suicide and euthanasia a law of fraternity was deceptive. A lone ship aid finally set sail on Tuesday morning following a 4-day delay due to technical issues. Loaded with approximately 150 tons of humanitarian aid, primarily consisting of food such as rice and canned goods, the ship's eventual cargo unloading location and allocation remain uncertain. A small temporary structure towed by the vessel may serve as a landing jetty. Gaza lacks a functioning harbor, and its shoreline waters are too shallow for most ships, prompting the need for alternative routes. Plans to establish a link between Cyprus and Gaza were initially proposed several months ago by Cyprus President Nikos Christodoulides, with a plan of action revitalized in the recent weeks. If this initial shipment proves successful, additional supplies are expected to follow suit. With the departure of the vessel, both Christodoulides and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen characterized the effort as a mission of hope. The Pakistani Christian Association in Italy paid tribute to Shabazz Bhatti on the 13th anniversary of his assassination in an event held in Rome. Bhatti was Pakistan's former Federal Minister of Minorities Affairs and the country's first Christian parliamentarian. Political and religious leaders gathered at Palazzo Giustiniani to honor the Pakistani leaders renowned as a peacemaker. Shahbaz Bhatti was tragically killed by terrorists in Islamabad on March 2, 2011. His attackers labeled him an infidel Christian for his efforts to repeal the controversial blasphemy law. He also played a vital role in the release of Asia Bibi, a Christian woman sentenced to death for blasphemy. Shahbaz Bhatti's legacy still lives on as a martyr and a strong proponent of religious freedom. Texas Judge Francisco Dominguez has temporarily halted Attorney General Ken Paxton's effort to close Annunciation House, a Catholic organization in El Paso, Texas, accused of facilitating human trafficking. The judge's decision prohibits Paxton from canceling the organization's license or requiring rapid document handover. Dominguez condemned Paxton for ignoring due process and fair play. Annunciation House offers refuge and assistance to migrants along the U.S.-Mexico border. Paxton's office expressed alarm about illegal immigration and sued the group, attempting to remove its registration. Annunciation House rejected the accusations, calling them baseless. The organization's lawyer welcomed the court's ruling, highlighting the importance of adhering to legal processes in dealing with sensitive material. A pro-life pregnancy help center in New Jersey has petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene in stopping a subpoena that seeks forceful disclosure of donor information. First Choice Women's Resource Centers argued that the subpoena was unconstitutional while it aimed at the infringement of their rights and putting their security in danger. The attorneys of First Choice alleged that the New Jersey Attorney General was supporting Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion provider, citing that the Attorney General declined to subpoena Planned Parenthood, ignoring their well-known failures in data security and misleading statements published on their websites. In November 2023, an inquiry into possible breaches of the Consumer Fraud Act led to the center's legal struggle with the Attorney General of New Jersey. The National Health Service, or NHS, in the United Kingdom announced that children who have gender dysphoria will no longer receive puberty blocker prescriptions. NHS confirmed that the prescriptions will only be provided to youth taking part in clinical research trials. The healthcare system decided on a review that revealed the lack of evidence regarding its safety and effectiveness. The puberty blockers, which will now only be available as a part of research, pauses the physical changes of puberty. UK Health Minister Maria Caulfield said the government welcomes the NHS decision to end the routine prescription of puberty blockers. Caulfield also said NHS must ensure that gender identity services protect, support, and act in the best interest of children. Mexico's presidential candidates signed the National Commitment to Peace with Catholic Church leaders on Monday, March 11. The peace commitment has strategies aimed at reducing violence in the country. During the Episcopal Conference of Mexico, the ruling party's presidential candidate, Claudia Sheinbaum, expressed her disagreement with the security strategy of President López Obrador. The Mexican bishops' conference urged the participation of the voters. The church leaders also expressed concern over democracy, the rule of law, and the intervention of criminal groups in the electoral process. According to the document, over 30,000 were killed and more than 90,000 have disappeared in Mexico due to violence and drug cartels disputes over territory. The bishops remarked that Mexico is in a deep crisis of violence and social decay. The Church of Abraham, which is a part of a vast pyramid-shaped complex emerging in the desert in Iraq is gearing for inauguration this coming Easter. This church symbolizes interfaith dialogue and aims to support Iraqi Christians whose numbers have dwindled from 1.5 million 2 decades ago to a few 100,000 today. Adur Fatuhi, the project's advocate, remarked, quote, Earth transforms into a sacred site due to Abraham's birth, connecting us with God, end quote. During the visit of Pope Francis to Iraq, Boutros Katelma, a 79-year-old Christian engineer, was inspired to initiate the church's construction. Beyond serving as a place of worship, the Church of Abraham will be a religious, social, and cultural hub aligned with Pope Francis's emphasis on believers' shared connection to the prophet of the three major monotheistic faiths. The Egyptian Coptic Orthodox Church reported that 3 monks were killed in a violent attack in the Coptic monastery of St. Mark and St. Samuel the Confessor in Johannesburg, South Africa. A spokesperson for the South African police said that an investigation into the murders was initiated. The victims were discovered with stab wounds, while a surviving 4th monk claimed to have been struck with an iron rod before escaping and seeking refuge, according to a police force statement. The motive behind the murders remains unclear. South Africa faces one of the highest murder rates globally, with frequent incidents of armed robbery. The church statement revealed that one of the deceased monks represented the Coptic Diocese of South Africa. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.